Welcome back to another episode. My name is Desmond Soon. I'm actually an associate with Josh Spurrell at Spurrell and Associates, Vancouver branch manager. And Josh, today we want to talk about your experiences. I've got a copy of his manuscript from his upcoming book, and we'll post the information in the description below. If you haven't already checked out some of the other videos that we did, that we reveal some of the myths that you've put in your book here, go ahead and click on the I button up here and check it out. So Josh, tell us a bit about, well, first of all, I want to read a quote from the book. And it says, "The business schools reward difficult, complex behavior more than simple behavior, but simple behavior is more effective." And that's actually from Warren Buffett. Josh, what is your take? I mean, you see numbers every day. Tell us about your numbers and stats.
I mean, it's a beautiful quote because people think that business school is the be all end all, but roughly 4% of the Canadian population starts a business.
Correct.
4.7% of business graduates start a business. It's not any different, right?
Yes.
It doesn't really predicate success. It's not like if you go to business school, it's going to guarantee success. It'd be my view that they're two entirely different things. Where business school is primarily showing you how to work in a business and not necessarily run one.
Right. Okay. And you've got some stories where even you were invited as a speaker to speak at schools, your business school. Can you share a bit about that story? Because I know you put that in your book as well too.
Well, one of the predominant business schools in Edmonton was actually NAIT, the Northern Institute of Technology in Edmonton. So I had a speaking engagement. They wanted to do some more seminars for students from real entrepreneurs.
Right.
And I agreed. I enjoyed doing the seminars. It's our job to help business owners beat the odds. So what better way than help students who were thinking of starting a business? And so we started this business seminar series, and I got a question from the audience one day. And the question was, the student, I think he was in his second or third year of business school. He wanted to start a flooring business.
Right. Okay.
And he asked me, should I continue with my business degree, or should I drop out and start my business immediately? I know
and if you're watching this, you might be wondering the same thing too as well. We get that from a lot of students or young entrepreneurs that are, they've been dabbling with something on the side, some e-com business, perhaps, maybe some affiliate marketing, some digital marketing in general is what we see most of the time. And some young guys that may do the trades work, the construction and other things like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so, my answer was the honest answer. I knew it was not the answer that, the college wanted to hear, but my answer was, just that your business degree really is just something to fall back on if you want a job. It's not really going to teach you what you need to know to run your business. It's that thing that you're going to fall back on if the business doesn't work out. And so, I asked them, are you planning for your business to fail? If you're planning for your business to fail, you should stay in business school.
Right.
If you're all in, you should go and start your business because it's two entirely different skill sets. And the guy's a young guy, so if it doesn't work out for him, he can always go back to business school later, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So it's my view, in absence of some like legal or regulatory requirement where you need a degree to become a lawyer,
right?
You need a degree to become a CPA.
You need to be a PhD to be a doctor, for example. I wouldn't want a doctor that did not go and complete all his certifications, right?
But it's my view, in absence of any sort of regulatory requirement, the business degree is really not necessary.
Got it. Okay. So then, well, for the entrepreneurs, if you're watching this, where's the best way to get educated? What do you recommend? Where do you get started? Do you find a mentor? Do you take a course? Do you do an apprenticeship somewhere, an internship? How do you learn business?
So I have like a very specific filter, and it's just based on the stats. We know 96% of the businesses fail within 10 years.
Correct.
Half of all of those businesses never get to 5 employees or more. So I tell people it's a very specific filter. It's not based on my feelings. In fact, it upsets a lot of people, but I tell people you really shouldn't listen to people about business unless they have run a business for 10 years or more.
Okay.
Or they have 5 or more employees, preferably both, right?
Right.
So, just ask yourself, is this person giving me the advice? They run a business for a decade or more?
Yep.
Do they have more than 5 employees?
Yep.
Don't worry about the professional credentials behind their name. There's a lot of lawyers, there's a lot of accountants who have figured out how to stay small forever.
Right.
They've never grown. Meanwhile, there's a landscaper down the street who's figured out how to build a $10 million business and scale up. Right?
Correct.
These are the people that you're supposed to learn from. Most of the time, you're going to have to pay someone. You're probably going to have to pay someone in your life. And even if you're dealing with an associate in that sort of business, that's fine if that is their business, because ultimately there is someone within that group where they're reporting to and giving that information.
Correct.
You should also look through your network too, because you might be one of the lucky ones who actually has one of these people in your in your network, right? Most people won't. Right?
Yeah. If you don't have anyone in your network, Josh, do you read books? I mean, are books still a necessity? Going to courses? What are your thoughts on that?
Books are good. I mean, that's why we started hosting the BPL's Business Bootcamp.
Right.
So you could start interacting with real entrepreneurs, right?
Right.
Just getting people in the room with other entrepreneurs, the stuff that you...
Who run real businesses, who have employees,
That's
you
right.
know, who are working towards being at the 10 years already at the 10 year or above, right?
Exactly. The stuff you need to do, will start to make sense. Because I tell people, being a business owner, it's kind of like being a firefighter. Everyone else runs out of the burning building.
Right.
We have to run in, right?
Correct.
Everyone else is going right. We have to go left, right?
Yeah.
So what you need to do a lot of times feels unnatural. Once you start hanging around with other entrepreneurs and getting advice from proven entrepreneurs, you start getting a consistent message.
Okay, so Josh, that makes a lot of sense. Now let's talk about the things they don't teach you in school. Because I know you have a whole list, laundry list there about that.
There's a bunch of things, and when I start saying them, they start to sound even really obvious. So, for example, when I sit down with an entrepreneur, one of the most common things that can predict success is actually their calendar, what they do at specific times, and their plan of what they're going to do in the future.
Can you give an example?
Their calendar,
Right.
their day by day, hour by hour calendar of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if I look at a successful entrepreneur, there's certain things that are in these calendars. When they're doing the administration of the business, when they're developing content, when they're doing marketing, when they're managing their team, when they're seeing clients, we have things that need to be addressed in their business on a consistent basis.
Right.
And when you start to deal with successful entrepreneurs, you notice a lot of similarities in these calendars.
Right, and it doesn't matter if they're a dentist, a doctor, a plumber, an internet marketer, a coach, consultant, speaker.
Yeah.
Right.
And you go through your entire business school, they never once show you a calendar of a successful business owner, ever, even though it's one of the most basic things that you have to learn.
Right.
And I mean, it doesn't stop there with the calendar. That's like, it's the basic of the basic. You go through your entire business degree without ever having to generate a real lead. Using an ad, an online ad, a cold call, a flyer, to get someone to pick up the phone and say that they're interested in your product or service. That's the basic function of actually having to sell something to another human being, doing a sales proposal.
They teach you all the admin stuff, but they don't teach you the sales or the marketing, the real sales marketing.
Theoretical. So I mean, it's, they don't teach you how to do human resources unless you have 40 hours a week to do human resources. So very basic things about a business, setting up your calendar, doing marketing, doing sales. You get your entire business degree and they never even touch on it.
So, okay, so Josh, then tell us more about your personal experience. I mean, you're a CPA as well too, right? And how much have you actually practically put into practice? After going to school, business school, getting all that, getting your degree, what was it, 3 years of articling and 4 years to get, 7 years altogether?
4-year undergrad, 3-year articling.
Right.
I would say that about 90% of what I do every day in helping real small businesses was never taught in business school.
Right.
A lot of the things that we just talked about now.
Yes.
They just simply don't teach it in business school. Maybe 10% is the things that I learned in business school and my professional CPA training.
Right.
The other 90% of the things that are going to make you successful, we're just not taught there.
Okay.
It's based on real experience. It's based on dealing with business owners and finding the repeatable strategies that work over and over.
Yep.
It is about reading books from proven, business experts.
Right.
The Jim Collins of the world, the Michael Gerbers of the world, who have proven repeatable strategies that work in different businesses. And it's about being around other entrepreneurs who, tend to behave a certain way. They tend to solve problems in a certain way. And that really is a bigger predicator for success than going to business school.
Right. Does someone need to get a mentor, or you mentioned at the start that they should get around other business owners? Would you consider that person a mentor then? Or, who should you take advice from? Who should you not take advice from? You're a CPA, obviously. I personally think, I'm a business owner myself, so I consider Josh one of my advisors. There's a difference between, I think, like mentors and advisors. Mentors have done it before you. And so you want to replicate what their successful actions are. What do you recommend in that sense?
I think running a business without having a mentor is like buying a car without gas. Like you could push it, it'll roll, right?
Yeah.
You can send it down a hill, but it's just not going to operate the way you want it to. It's going to take so much longer to get there. Get a mentor. Most people, you're going to have to pay for this.
Yeah, like a
right?
business coach, a business consultant, a mentor.
And a real one. There's a lot of pretenders out there. There's a lot of pretenders. They haven't scaled their business. They're not a part of an organization that's scaling. They're a one-man show, but they're going to somehow tell you how to scale your business.
Right. Now, obviously, you're not going to go up to a mentor, a potential mentor, and say, "Show me your books," and show me who. So, is there a tactful way of doing that? What are some of the telltale signs that you want to look for to decide if someone's qualified to mentor you?
Search them.
Right.
Search them. Search them online. Once you've done your search, go to their office if you can.
Right.
Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you have to deal with people in other locations, but they should have enough online content, YouTube videos,
right,
podcasts, an Instagram account. Like it should be very obvious.
Blog. Yeah.
It's not just filled with stock photos. There's real people working in an organization. They can advise you. We function as this for clients, but I tell people you'd be better off with a plumber with 10 employees than a CPA with none.
Correct. Okay, fantastic. So Josh, and just in wrapping up here, by the way, if you have any questions or comments for Josh and you'd like me to get him to answer those questions specifically for you, type in the comments, let us know your questions, and I will pin Josh down to make sure he specifically answers those. Josh, any takeaways for anyone who's been watching this? What would you recommend for them to do as an action step? Something they can implement right away. And if you do implement anything that Josh recommends, do also let us know in the comments below.
You're going to get out there and meet other business owners, right? Stop taking advice from people at the front of the room, making $100,000 a year. They're teaching they're making $100,000 a year because they don't know how to build $1 million business. That's right. Just the truth. If you knew how to build $1 million business, what are you doing at the front of the room making $100,000 a year? I know they all try to say, "Oh, I'm trying to save the world." I guarantee you, if you put another $100,000 a year in that person's pockets, they would quit their job at the school to do that instead.
Right.
They don't know how to do it. The proof's in the pudding, right? Even the people who teach at these universities, a lot of times they're teaching at universities because they need to supplement their income. Go out, learn from real entrepreneurs who, they live and die by this. They actually earn their living doing this, proven results of actually scaling companies.
Well, if you found that information helpful, let us know, subscribe, smash that subscribe button, turn on the bell notification. Check out the other episodes up here on the top left, and we will see you in the next episode.